Deep in the jungle, colossal stone skeletons hide beneath the trees. Pyramids that once touched the sky are now consumed by roots. 4,000 years ago, this was a civilization of geniuses. They built the tallest pyramids in the Americas, like Tonina. But then, in a blink of an eye, the cities emptied. Millions abandoned their homes, leaving the jungle to rule. For decades, archaeologists were baffled. Was it an invasion? The truth is more disturbing. It wasn't an external enemy. It was the sky itself turning against them. Welcome to History Unveiled, the true story of the Maya collapse.
The Maya were masters of time, but they lived in constant terror of one thing: thirst. In the Yucatan Peninsula, there are no surface rivers. The limestone ground swallows the rain. Enter Chalk, the rain god, a terrifying deity who demanded payment in blood. Before the sacrifice, priests prepared a sacred mixture, a chemical miracle. The victims were not just thrown in, they were painted from head to toe, covered in Maya blue, an indestructible pigment that has survived for centuries. This color was sacred. It marked them as property of the gods. Once painted, they were no longer human. They were offerings. They stood at the edge of the cenote, the mouth of the earth, and were pushed into the abyss, hoping a life would buy a storm.
But the Maya didn't just pray, they played for their lives. Welcome to the great ball court of Chichen Itza, larger than a football field. Here they played Pitz. The ball was solid rubber, weighing 9 pounds. It was a lethal projectile. No hands allowed, only hips, elbows, and knees. The goal was impossible. Pass it through a tiny stone ring 20 feet high. Games could last for days without a single score. Pure exhaustion. This wasn't just a sport. It was a ritual battle of the sun against darkness. When the game ended, the real horror began. The captain faced destiny. He was often decapitated right there on the field, an honor and a sacrifice. His blood feeding the earth, ensuring the sun would rise again.
While Europe struggled in the Dark Ages, the Maya developed the most sophisticated writing system in the Americas. It wasn't just pictures, it was a full language capable of expressing poetry, history, and complex mathematics. They wrote thousands of books on fig bark paper, recording the movement of the stars and royal bloodlines. But then the Spanish conquistadors arrived, and with them the fanatical bishop Diego de Landa. In a single act of cultural destruction, he ordered the burning of every Mayan book they could find. "We found a large number of books," Landa wrote. "They contained nothing but lies of the devil, so we burned them." The Maya watched in agony as their history, science, and soul turned to ash. Out of thousands of books, only 4 survived. Just 4. One of them, the Dresden Codex, contains astronomical tables rivaling modern science. We can only imagine what secrets were lost in the fire forever.
To modernize, the ancient Maya nobility would have looked striking, perhaps even alien. They practiced cranial deformation. From birth, an infant's head was bound between 2 wooden boards. This wasn't torture, it was the ultimate standard of beauty, mimicking the shape of an ear of corn. But their modifications didn't stop at the skull. They were also the world's first cosmetic dentists. Using primitive drills, they bored holes into the enamel with such precision that they didn't hit the nerve. They used natural sealants that have held these gems in place for over 1,000 years. Their medicine was equally advanced. They sutured wounds using human hair. And for surgery, they used obsidian blades, volcanic glass sharper than any modern steel scalpel. They even created prosthetics, false teeth made of jade and turquoise for the wealthy. A society of incredible refinement, existing side by side with brutal savagery.
For centuries, we believed the Maya were a collection of small, isolated city-states hidden in the jungle. We were wrong. We were only seeing the tip of the iceberg. Recent laser technology, known as LiDAR, has stripped away the trees digitally, revealing a megalopolis of over 60,000 previously unknown structures. They built a great wall and huge raised highways called Sakbeab, connecting cities in a network that rivals modern highway systems. This wasn't a tribe, it was an empire of 10 to 15 million people. Deep in the forest lies El Mirador, home to La Danta, a pyramid so massive that it remains one of the largest structures ever built in the ancient world, and it is still mostly buried. But this massive population came with a terrible cost. They were terraforming the jungle to death.
By the year 800 AD, the clock ran out, the skies closed, and the rains simply stopped. Paleoclimatologists have found evidence of a mega drought that lasted not years, but decades. Their massive reservoirs, engineering triumphs designed to hold water, turned into toxic traps. Recent analysis shows the water was contaminated with mercury and algae. They were poisoning themselves. As resources vanished, the kings went to war, not ritual war, but wars of annihilation. They called them Star Wars, military campaigns timed with the movement of Venus. The gods did not answer. The crops failed. The people did the only thing they could. They walked away. They abandoned the great stone cities to the jungle. Within a few decades, the jungle swallowed everything. Vines crushed the limestone. The silence of the Maya is not a mystery of disappearance, but a tragedy of survival.
But the story of the Maya does not end in ruin. We are just beginning to read the next chapter. LiDAR scans reveal there are more pyramids hidden under the soil than there are visible above it. Thousands of temples, palaces, and tombs are still out there, sleeping under the roots, waiting for the next generation of explorers to stumble upon them. And the people? They never vanished. The Maya are still here. Over 6 million descendants still live in these lands, speaking the languages of their ancestors. They weave the same cosmic patterns and worship on the steps of the same churches. The empire fell, the cities were abandoned, but the culture survived the apocalypse. The jungle may have claimed the stone, but it could not claim the spirit. If you want to uncover more lost civilizations, subscribe to History Unveiled.